Sitting alone in an old rocking chair, I saw an old mother with silvery hair. She seemed so neglected by those who should care, rocking alone in an old rocking chair. Her hands were all calloused and wrinkled and old. A life of hard work was the story they told, and I thought of angels as I saw her there, rocking alone in an old rocking chair. Bless her old heart, do you think she'd complain? The life has been bitter, she'd live it again, and carry that cross that is more than her share, rocking alone in an old rocking chair. To gladden her heart, just some small remembrance on somebody's part. A letter would brighten her empty life there, rocking alone in an old rocking chair. I know some kids in an orphan's home who'd think they owned heaven if she were their own. And I think of angels as I see her there, rocking alone in an old rocking chair. Thank you, Brian. We're starting
Gunnar Larson.
Now, Morton, where did you grow up?
Here, Mr. Morton Gunnar Larson.
this next number, The Finger Breaker, which happens...
Mr. Morton Gunnar Larson of Oslo, The Finger Breaker. Oh, it's spring. It's spring here in Minnesota, and in our hearts, all of us are 25 years old again. All that means, as it says in the song, songs were made to sing while we're young. Every day is spring while we're young. You wake up on a spring morning and in the air, along with the lilacs, you smell possibility. You feel slim and gifted, innocent. You leap up, you throw open the windows, and you say, St. Paul, you big metropolis on the Mississippi, mail handler, insurance underwriter, player with the nation's commercial cleaning compounds, maker of the nation's Scotch tape and postage, city of the big ankles. I'm coming out there. On a scale your heights today, St. Paul. That's how I feel in May. I feel that after all these years of doing light, frothy entertainment on the radio, this year, maybe at last, I'll make my debut in the arts. The arts.
The arts.
The arts.
Sensibility.
Tremulous longing.
Hope.
Romance.
And then
Inevitably.
bitter experience. Hope, doubt. Certainty shattered.
Real frustration.
Agonies of guilt and loathing.
And eventually, out of darkness,
Wisdom, acceptance, contentment.
A measure of nobility.
Nobility. Not the easiest thing to find in St. Paul, but one must try. Mustn't one?
you
Yes.
trying to mow the lawn today?
As soon as I get the lawnmower fixed, I will, yeah.
Well, what's wrong with it?
Well, that's what I'm trying to find out.
Have you ever fixed a lawnmower before?
No, but I'm just about to.
You don't want to take it to a shop?
No, I'm working on it.
It's been sitting outside in the rain for 3 weeks.
Well, that's where I'm working on it, is outside.
Meanwhile, the grass is growing.
Well, it just needs a few adjustments.
You want me to take it to a shop?
No, I don't.
It's soaking wet from the rain.
They're designed to get wet
Why don't you take the lawnmower in the garage and fix it there?
because the garage is full of stuff.
Oh, that was the next thing on my list. When are you going to get to that?
As soon as I get the lawnmower.
Oh.
I don't know how you tell you this, but mowing the lawn is not the priority for me that it is for some people, okay?
Uh-huh.
I'm at an age, Helen, where a man needs nobility.
Well, la-di-da.
Walt Whitman said, "What is the grass? It is the handkerchief of the Lord, a scented gift. It is a uniform hieroglyphic, the beautiful uncut hair of graves."
Huh, my goodness, and here I thought it was only a lawn.
I had a dream last night, Helen.
Oh, boy.
I dreamed that I loved you and that I was out of favor with your family.
Well, that's the truth.
I was a Montague and you a Capulet. Me, sad hours seem long,
What sadness lengthens Romeo's hours?
not having that which makes them short.
In love?
Out
Of love?
of her favor where I am in love.
Alas, that love, so gentle in his view, should be so tyrannous and rough in proof.
Oh, Horatio, how weary, stale, flat, and unprofitable seem to me all the uses of this world.
I'm not Horatio, I'm Benvolio.
Sorry, wrong play.
But what's Hecuba to you and you to Hecuba that you should weep for her?
Her name is Juliet.
Oh, right.
Hello, anybody home?
Sorry, I was just thinking.
So is there any chance you could do the lawn today, tomorrow?
It's on my list. It's right there on my list, right as soon as I come home from the audition.
Oh.
It's spring. I'm 25 years old inside. I'm ready to sweep aside the petty details and see the big picture, the grandeur of things. None can refuse. Time flies so fast. Too dear to lose and too sweet to last.
Hi, may I help you, sir?
I'm an actor.
Oh.
An actor.
Uh-huh.
I'm looking for a shirt.
An actor.
An actor.
So you're not looking for some ordinary white or blue shirt?
No.
Button down?
No.
Well, how about an aquarelle or burgundy or chartreuse? Or we have delphinium, eggshell white, fauve, geranium, heliotrope, iodine, jonquil, kumquat, lapis lazuli, mauve, nutmeg, ochre, plum, quince, raven, shamrock, turquoise, underbrush, velveeta, wisteria, zen-type yeast, or zwayback.
Do you have anything else?
Well, how about aubergine or banana or cobalt, Dijon, ecru, fawn, garbanzo, hyacinth, or ivory, jasper, khaki, lilac, mango, navy, oatmeal, periwinkle, quartz, rose, spearmint, teal, umbrian, violet, wedgwood, xanadu, yellow, and zebra. Anything there up here?
Do you have any others?
Amethyst, beryl, copper, delft, emerald, flax, gentian, henna, isamine, jade, kohlrabi, lavender, myrtle, nectarine, olive, prune, quincy, russet, saffron, terracotta, ultramarine, vanilla, wine, xanthine, yorba linda, and zinc.
Do you have black?
We have raven.
Is that like black?
It's very black.
Fine, I'll take that. Here's the theater. Oh, be still, my beating heart. Oh, my big chance. I hope this black shirt helps.
There's auditions going on.
I know, I'm supposed to.
Oh.
I made an appointment
Oh,
to audition.
your name Walter?
No, it's Weiler.
Oh, Weiler. W-Y-L-E-R?
No, W-E-I-L-L-O-R.
Oh,
Weiler.
right. Oh, okay. Here it is.
Got it?
Okay, just have a seat.
Thank you. Thanks. Hi there.
Oh, hi.
Nice day outside.
Mm-hmm.
You here to audition?
Yeah.
What part you up for?
Romeo.
Oh.
You trying out for the friar?
No, actually, I'm trying out for Romeo.
Really?
Yeah.
I always thought of Romeo as a younger character, under 40, you know.
Sometimes it takes a more experienced actor to portray youth.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You must be from St. Paul, aren't you?
What do you mean that must be?
You are, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
I knew it.
Where are you from?
Minneapolis.
Uh-huh. Nice place. I was there once in the 70s.
Really?
There's a lot of alternative theater going on, I remember.
Is that right?
Nice place if you like postmodernism, I guess.
I forget where St. Paul is. Is that south of
No,
here?
you're in it. This is it, here.
Oh.
See, it's east of Minneapolis. It's just downwind of you people.
How lucky for you.
Yes.
Mr. Weiler, you're next.
Yes.
Okay, he's right in through there. Now, and watch your step. Right down the aisle, up on the stage.
I go up on stage?
Yeah, right there. He's waiting for you. Go. Yes.
What's the director's name?
It's George.
Okay, thanks. Thank you for letting me audition today. This is a play I've loved ever since I was just a little child. So this is a very big thrill for me. And of course, knowing that it's for you, George, I mean, what can I say? Big fan, huge fan, major fan, like everybody. Do you want me to do my modern passage first or my Shakespeare?
Your modern first, thank you.
Stella!
Thank you. Okay, your Shakespeare.
Can you see me all right here, or do you want me to come down stage a little bit?
Right where you are is fine.
Okay, it just looks like there's more light down here,
You're
that's all.
fine right there.
Is it okay if I start here and then I move over towards this area?
Fine.
Okay, I just think it gives a little more contrast. Do you mind if I take just a moment to get ready?
Go ahead.
Thanks. Okay. But soft, with light. Do you mind if I start again? I didn't quite get it there.
Whenever you're ready,
Thank you.
please.
But soft, what light through yonder window breaks. It is the east, and Juliet is the sun. See how she dries her cheek upon her hand. Oh, that I were a glove upon that hand.
Thank you.
That I might touch that cheek.
Thank you.
Would you like me to continue?
No, thank you.
I worked up a song, if you'd like, very short. No? No? Did I give you the copy of my resume?
Yes, you did.
Okay. Could I just explain a couple of things there?
But,
May not be clear.
no.
The Granite Falls Groundlings production of Hamlet that I did was September and October of 1972. It wasn't just October, it was September too. It was a 2-month thing. And the Rochester Renaissance Fair production of Romeo and Juliet in 1984. I don't think I mentioned on that resume that I did the costumes as well as playing Romeo. Do you want a pencil to make the change?
No.
Did costumes and starred in Romeo and Juliet.
Thank you. Next.
Okay. You don't want to write that down?
I'll remember.
Okay. You're not going to cast me, are you?
No, I'm not.
Do you mind my asking why? So he told me. He went into more detail than I cared to hear. And when I left the theater, I felt about 3 feet high. And then he came running out the door after me.
Mr. Weiler.
What?
Mr. Weiler,
Yes.
I have a part that may interest you. I don't know. It's a small part.
What's that?
Well, there's a horse in the play,
Yes.
and we need 2 men for the costume,
Yes.
and I've already cast someone to be the head of the horse.
I see. So, you need someone to be the rear end of the horse.
Right.
A non-speaking part.
We hope not.
Yes. Well, it's still show business, isn't it?
That's the spirit.
I mean, you got to start someplace, don't
Exactly.
you? A horse can bring joy to the hearts of people, too. You can't have a horse without a rear end, can you now?
True.
And who knows, somebody may see me in this role.
Could I just take a look at your bend over, would you? Yes, I think you'll do very well, thank you. See you tomorrow, okay?
Yes.
5 o'clock.
Yes.
For the fitting.
Thank you.
And please don't eat anything for 3 hours before, okay?
Yes. I headed home. There was the lawnmowers sitting in the tall grass, the lilacs in bloom, and me in the theater. So blue the skies, such sweet surprise shines before our eyes while we're young.
Onward, Northumberland!
Hi, my lord, and Lancaster and York!
Gloucester and bold Plantagenet!
Come, Suffolk and Salisbury, the young Earl of Warwick!
Let us ride, Westmoreland!
Onward,
Onward, my lord!
Brian Sutton, Tim Russell, Sue Scott, Tom Keith. I want to welcome this fine musician who's making his very first appearance on our show. He's born in Mississippi and raised in Memphis. Started playing harmonica and guitar when he was very, very young. Played with a lot of great blues men.
Down on bended knees, trying to beg that woman, please. I don't know how much further I can go. Just wanted to remember all the times we spent together. The only thing she said to me was no. I told her I'd be different, and our love it would be tender. Everything I did, I think real slow. Well, she walked away to wonder with a voice that felt like thunder. She turned to me and she just told me no. She said no to everything on my mind. Some men have gone too long and some have died. She said it crossed my mind a many a time or two. When I'm ready to give it up, I'll call on you. Thank you kindly. Blue Garden. In my voodoo garden there's a one-eyed cat. There's a classic cowboy in a concrete hat. Mask of the devil by the firstborn son. You can tell he's on the level by the way he drinks his rum, relaxing in the shade, feeling most at ease. In a voodoo garden, you can do just like you please. There's a hole in the ozone, baby, it never ends. Loretta, she don't care how much money she spends. When the Iceman comes by with his saxophone, we'll have him arrested for living alone. Me, I don't worry about the big freeze. In a voodoo garden, you can do just like you please. Sweet Karina, working at the bank, took to the air in an oxygen tank. I don't know how far she went out of her mind. She said she was the only one left of her kind, flying high in the sky, free as a breeze. Thank you very much. Oh, it's a little tune called If I Should Have Bad Luck, Honey, a Long, Long Way From Home, I Know Your Love Will Keep Me Going. It's about being on the road and being away from home all the time. honey, long, long way from home. Well, now since I know you love me, your love will keep me going. Passing people's houses on a dark and lonely road. Look mighty cozy, but a place I can't go if I should have bad luck. Honey, a long, long way from home. Well, now since I know you love me, your love will keep me going. I'm making 90 miles an hour down this highway in the dark. Kitchen lights burning make me wonder how you are if I should have bad luck. Honey, long, long way from home. Well, now since I know you love me, your love will keep me going. If you can get me to Dyersburg, I'll make Memphis on my own. I said goodbye to more highways and people I have known. If the weather holds out and it don't snow or rain, everything is all right. Don't you worry about a thing.
Father, you and
in Lake Wobegon, Minnesota, my hometown. Out there on the prairie, the weather's been just beautiful, perfect. Those terrible mosquitoes have not yet arrived in our part of the country. Fierce animals that resist any kind of bug repellent. Crucifixes work, but you have to hit them really hard with them. And so, many people chose Memorial Day to put their fishing boats out onto the lake, and Clarence Bunson's boat was out there, who has an orange couch that is bolted to the boat. It's a big blob of orange sitting out there on the lake under a blue umbrella, and Clarence sitting and fishing. And on the hull of the boat, painted in black letters just under the gunnels, is a saying, "O blessed mood, in which the burden of the mystery, in which the heavy and the weary weight of this intelligible world is lifted," which he got off a men's clothing calendar someplace. He loves to sit out there and meditate and listen to the water slap against the side of the boat. And the fish are no problem whatsoever. Just the occasional one who needs to be helped off the hook, that's all. It was Memorial Day on Monday, and everyone went up to the cemetery. Memorial Day, which is still known in some places as Decoration Day, and it is a day when interior decorators hold parades and they carry wallpaper samples and swatches of drapery and so forth. But in Lake Wobegon, we celebrate it as Memorial Day, and we go up there to remember our dead. It, of course, was late starting. The honor guard had not arrived, and they did not have blanks for their rifles, so people walked around and looked at the graves. We do this every year. It's our obligation to remember our dead. The grave was over near the center, just over the crest of the hill where the 5 teenagers were buried back in 1955, who were out driving late one Friday night and who ran off a county road and into a tree. 5 young people who died when I was very young, but always remembered by us who knew them. There are many interesting monuments up there. Little children who died in the epidemics with tiny lambs on their tombstones that the weather has almost worn away. There's the interesting monument that was left up there by Mamie Beeler, who lived a reclusive life in a big stucco house on a large lot at the very edge of town. She never came into town. Lutheran ladies helped her with her shopping and picked up her mail. She stayed in her yard for most of the last 40 years of her life and tended her apple trees. And if you ever came near the house, you could hear her outdoors in pleasant weather, talking out loud. The Lutheran ladies said she kept up a constant conversation with herself most of the day. When she was very old, she arranged for a tombstone to be placed in the cemetery. And on one side, it had her name, Mamie Beeler, and on the other side, it had the name Margaret Sullivan. When she died, she was buried, and there were rumors of a daughter someplace, perhaps illegitimate. But over the years since Mamie died, people have come to think that probably when she died, Margaret Sullivan did too. That Margaret Sullivan was the person who Mamie talked to all those years in her backyard. What an amazing accomplishment in a town in which everybody knows everybody else's business. To live your whole life and to die with this immense secret intact that nobody will ever know. Well, at last the Memorial Day got started, and we all marched down to the statue of the Black Angel, the monument to the Grand Army of the Republic with the little spiked fence around it and the little urns in which nobody bothers to put flowers anymore. We stood there and we sang America the Beautiful, all of us, 200 of us, trying to drown out the ladies' sextet, who are very confident singers. And why should you compound lack of talent by timidity? They sing out. So we try to drown them out. And then we sang Rock of Ages, Cleft for Me. And we sang, I was standing on a corner on a cold and cloudy day when I saw the hearse come rolling to carry my mother away. And Mr. Berge got up and he recited, in Flanders fields the poppies blow between the crosses row on row that mark our place, and in the sky the larks so bravely onward fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. He did the whole poem, and then he wiped his eyes, and then he did, breathes there a man with soul so dead, who never to himself hath said, this is my own, my native land, whose heart hath ne'er within him burned, as homeward his footsteps he hath turned, from wandering on some foreign strand. And then came the place in the program where there should have been the Gettysburg Address, but nobody stepped forward to do it. It was so odd. It was as if somebody had died right on the spot. We always had expected to hear 77 years ago at that point. But the teacher of the 6th grade students who would have recited the Gettysburg Address had been waiting to get a memo from somebody to tell her to go ahead and do it. She didn't understand that there are no memos for Memorial Day. We just all get up in the morning and go up on the hill and do what we've always done and remember our dead. And since Lincoln said it so gracefully and so succinctly, it was a shame to do without his words. Then the speech was given by Pastor Ingqvist, who also had given the invocation. And he gave a speech about his uncle, Mr. Berg, and what a fine man he was, and what a man of faith, who every day of his life got up and sat in a chair and prayed and read the Bible, no matter how busy the day ahead of him, and how this day was in honor of those of faith just like him, who in the most ordinary ways had been true to their ideals. That men had been called to pick up guns and go up the hill into the smoke, and other men had been called to count sheets and towels and to peel potatoes, but all of them shared the same code of honor, that if necessary and if called, they would have gone up the hill into the smoke for the sake of the others. It was a good speech, and it deserved to be given. And I was glad that I did not give it myself. Because if I were to give one, I think I would rather give a Memorial Day speech about men who died because of arrogant and duplicitous older men who sent younger men into battles that they knew would not count, and into wars for which there was no purpose, and everybody knew it, but nobody dared to speak up who could have done something about it. We stood there in the silence. I thought about Mr. Berg, David Ingqvist's uncle. I remembered that he had given the speech for Memorial Day years and years and years ago. He was the last person you would have expected to do it. He was a dairy farmer. He was the sort of person who would panic if you asked him for the time of day, but here he was. I was in the 6th grade that year, and he got up in front of the angel with its great wings outspread, and we looked in horror to see that this man had in his hand a sheaf of papers, and that he meant to read every one of them. I think that he had decided to give the Memorial Day speech because he was trying to reform, and his wife thought he should put himself forward more. And so this poor man stood with his head down, and he read inaudibly every page of a horrible speech, badly written, read it line for line, without expression, as we stood there, and we slowly died. And the 6th graders began to sway on their feet, and the Sons of Canute Honor Guard had to hold onto each other to stand up. And the ladies' sextet, the expressions on their faces became more and more wooden until they started to look like demented axe murderers. There were people in the back of the crowd who were able to duck down and crawl through the grass and over the hill, and we could hear them laughing as they walked down the street into town. Until finally, one of the Canutes fell backwards with his white gun, his white rifle in his arms, a man who was able to fall over without injuring himself, was able to absorb the fall. And Mrs. Berg then got up the courage to walk up to her husband and whisper in his ear. And he looked out and he said, "My wife tells me that some of you have dinner in the oven, and so the rest of the speech will be at my house if you would like to read it. Thank you very much." This was the year when they put real cartridges and not blanks in the rifles. And the Sons of Canute raised their rifles, and they fired the salute, and 3 or 4 chickadees fell out of that tree. 3 or 4 chickadees fell to the ground, and it was the tree that the young man was sitting in, a lower branch of, who was to play taps on the bugle. He played it a moment later with more vibrato than we'd ever heard. And the high note went about half a step sharp, so it sounded like the cry of some tremendous carnivorous bird. And then we all went home. None of us the worse for wear. It's a great day. I remember the cemetery, though, and in a different way from when I was young, because it was a park to us. It was a place where you could go late at night and know that nobody would disturb you. You could go up there with your friends and lie in the grass. We would take a flashlight and set it in the tall grass, and we would lie up there and we would talk, knowing that nobody would overhear us, nobody would bother us. It was purely peaceful. And for some reason that we never talked about, we always lay around that flat granite monument that commemorated the 5 teenagers who had died in the car crash. We lay there and we never talked about them. There was a lot of silly talk, kids trying to scare each other as the sun went down, and boys talking about lighting gas, or some of them may have done it. There was a lot of kids just saying dialogue, kids making a pose, kids playing a part, trying out something, trying to be cynical or trying to be smart. But I remember being young in the dark up in that cemetery around that stone. I remember that feeling of eagerness, talking about the future, the near future, what we would do in the summer and what we would do next fall at school, and then the distant future, which we almost couldn't think about, when we would go away to college. And then the future beyond that, when you would have to do something, teach or get a job in an office or do something. We could hardly imagine that. I remember that intense excitement at the most ordinary things from when I was a young man lying in the dark in the cemetery, and how we would lie on our backs and we would turn off the flashlight and we would look up at the sky on a clear night filled with stars, and the sight of the Milky Way was so intense that I lost track of the force of gravity and felt as if I were standing and not lying, that I was standing on a precipice made of grass with the dead behind me, and that out there was the great black with brilliant points of light to which they had journeyed. It was terrifying and exhilarating to hang onto the ground, to know how sweet this life is when we look into the dark, and everything that we knew, our clothes and the smell of cut grass and of new asphalt, the smell of ice cream, the smell and the distant sound of traffic and people calling our names far down in the town below, that all of this was impossibly precious, that we would cling to this grass precipice as long as we possibly could, like tenacious plants that would refuse ever to give up lightly. Oh, blessed mood in which the burden of the mystery and all the heavy and the weary weight of this unintelligible world is lightened. And then we would turn on the flashlight and we would go home. That's the news from Lake Wobegon, where all the women are strong, all the men are good looking, and all the children All about that. Thank you there, Mr. Pat Donahue. And please welcome back to play the blues from Albany, Rory Block, once again in her band. Stairs back light went out, and Carl took a flashlight and walked out his backyard and across the alley and opened the door of Carruthers' garage, eased it open. The hinge needed oiling. He stepped in. It was full of junk. He could see the miter box. It was all the way in the back. Had paint cans on it. A couple of saws. He picked his way over the junk, listening to the night. And he got almost to the back of the garage, and the flashlight flickered. He shook it, and it flickered again. He unscrewed the head. The light bulb seemed to not sit quite right in its little socket. So he unscrewed it. And then with all these things to hold in two hands, he dropped the light bulb. And he could hear it crunch on the floor. He was in pitch black. He eased his way back toward the miter box. He thought he could see it. He started to pull at something that was on top of it, and the whole pile of junk creaked. And then he heard footsteps and the gravel, and he didn't breathe. The footsteps came up alongside the garage, and Carl straightened up and he faced the door. He didn't want to be caught bending over. He wanted to be facing the door when Carruthers came through it, with his thumbs hooked in his jeans pocket. And when the light came on, he wouldn't even blink. He'd just say, "Carruthers, I came for my muddy box. You asked to borrow it for 3 or 4 days, and that 3 or 4 days turned into a year. I'm here for it. Get it out." But nobody opened the door. And then he heard a voice outside in the alley say, "What time did she say she was going to be here?" The voice of a young man. And another voice said, "She said 10:30. The voice of his son. "Is she driving?" "Yeah, she's driving." "Did you bring the wine?" "I've got it. It's in the paper bag behind the garage." "Does she know there are 2 of us?" "Yeah." "You've never met her?" "No, I haven't." "But she's from Millet." "Yes, she's from Millet." "She said she knows about this beer party. just a couple miles south of here. We could go with her. Carl didn't want to listen to this conversation. He didn't want to know about this at all. He wished he could close it out of his mind. How will we know her? We'll know, his son said. We'll know her. She said she'd be wearing a black blouse. And she's driving. She's going to come driving right up the alley, I think. Or she may be over on the street. I'm not sure, but we'll see her. She'll circle the block. So wine, that was what she wanted, huh? Yes, she said to bring a bottle of wine. She likes wine. Red wine. Is it any good? I have no idea. Is it your dad's? Yes, it is. What are you going to do when he finds out? I'll cross that bridge when I come to it, his son said. And then the other boy said, I hear something. And they tiptoed past the garage and down the alley. And Carl could hear the gravel. And suddenly his claustrophobia kicked in. A difficult thing for a carpenter, but there it was. This old claustrophobia. And he walked, stumbling over things to the door, and he flung it open, and he charged out into the alley, and the bright glare of headlights coming straight towards him, and then the headlights swerved, and there was a crunch, and it hit the crabapple tree right there in his backyard. It crashed right into the crabapple tree. And a moment later, this rain of pale pink, purple blossoms came falling down on him. Thousands of pink blossoms, smelling like moonlight, sleeping on this bank, like orbs in their motion, like angels singing. The girl got out of the car. She said, "Are you all right?" She walked towards him. The radio was playing in the car. She was wearing a black blouse. She had black hair and jeans. "Yes," he said, "I'm all right." And the blossoms kept falling. His son and his son's friend came and asked if he was all right. And the blossoms kept coming down, kept coming down. They were there, thousands of them in the morning, and just the tire tracks and a few footprints among them. That's the news from Lake Wobegon, where all the women are strong, all the men are good looking, and all the children are above average.